Today's guest is a record producer and mix engineer. He not only specializes in metal, but also hardcore, punk, hard rock, and everything in between. He is the founder and the owner of Dead Room Recording Studio in San Antonio, Texas. He's also the founder and owner of Tone Crate for live and studio amplifier profiles, and that's for all you musicians out there who know that jargon. Maybe you encounter one of his food reviews on Instagram as you're scrolling. Please join me as we sit down with Clifton Miles.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
so don't feel like you have to like whatever. But yeah, so we can start right here, man.
Sure.
Yeah, is that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's good. I mean, because yeah, we were talking about before, just right. We started. You know Alex. Alex was my first guest on the show, and you also know Roger. Mm-hmm. And Roger's a really fun guy, man.
Yeah, I love Roger. He's my favorite.
Yeah. How long have you known Roger? Roger Trevino.
Probably about since 2019-ish. I mean, I met him through
kind of
Mac.
recently.
Yeah. I mean, I met him through Mac because he was trying to get back into music, and me and my buddy Damien, who was working with me as a producer at the studio, knew him or decided to start working with him rather. And Damien is an amazing songwriter, and he paired us up, and we started making some magic together. Damn. And that became Brave the Elements, and later on down the road.
Yeah, no, we actually mentioned your name in the last video.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you saw it yet.
Not yet.
But if you do watch it, I actually put a clip up, and he talks about you. He talks about the drummer from
Steven.
Yeah, Steven. And then he talks about Matt Damon Powers. Mac Damon.
Yeah, Mac Damon. Yeah.
I don't know him. Sorry.
No, that's good.
But hopefully he doesn't watch this.
He's
a
legend.
Dude, he was like hyping everyone up. He was like talking about the Grammys, like some people were Grammys, nominated for Grammys. Yeah. And I was just like, damn, this is crazy, bro. But yeah. But yeah, you should watch it. You're in it.
For sure, yeah.
A little bit. So it's real cool. And then, I uploaded that one today, and then you're here. So it's crazy, man, how life works.
Cool.
But
you're kicking the door in.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's and you've known Alex Longoria for a long time, and then you saw him at the Realms of Death show this past weekend.
Yes, I've known Alex Longoria since I was like maybe 16 years old, and we're both like 39.
Oh, you're all the same age?
Oh, roughly.
Yeah.
He might be a year or so younger, or a year or two younger. I don't know, 2 or 3 years younger. He might be a little younger, but like we're roughly the same age, and I've known him since I was like maybe 16. He's from Laredo, and we used to play a lot of shows out there back when I was in high school or right out of high school. Damn. And then him and all my other buddies, Laredo buddies, moved up here. But no, we saw him at Bitter End.
Oh, Bitter End.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool, man. Yeah, he invited me to go out there, but I couldn't make it. But yeah, dude. Hopefully I can see you at a show in general. Do you go to like a lot of shows?
Not as much as most.
It takes
people.
It takes time. Yeah, because you got your family. You got a little boy, right?
Yeah, I got a son.
How old is your son?
He'll be 12 in a few months.
12?
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm old.
No, you're not that old, bro. But no, that's cool. What's it like to be a dad? And in general, I heard like it's life changing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that's like that's my legacy. Yeah. It carries on my name, and it's like an opportunity to pass on what you've learned, and learn more about yourself than anything.
I imagine.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you get something to live for, something to work for, something to, you don't got a choice but to wake up every morning. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
It keeps a lot of people alive,
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, it's crazy. But yeah, but thanks for coming, first of all.
Yeah, no problem.
I know, like we were talking before we started filming right now. I didn't want to invite you first because I know who you are. Obviously, you didn't know who I was. You might have an idea, but it's just kind of like a first date, if you will. It's kind of, you want to make sure that I'm a real human being. So I wanted to show a couple of episodes first with people that I know and love, and then maybe invite you later on. So hopefully I did that pretty smart. But
yeah, man, it's all
cool.
good.
It's cool. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about your background, man. I just want to talk a little about you from me, like from my perspective.
Okay.
Dude. Okay, I don't want to sound creepy.
No.
But I've known who you are for like half my life.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm 30 years old.
Yeah.
And since I was in high school, since like maybe like 2012 and stuff like that, like I've known who you are in general, mostly from Dead Room, obviously. Yeah, 'cause I was never in a band, like a real band, but I would YouTube. I was a real nerd. Like I would like research these bands and see what like where they like what's the recording like here in town. Your name was obviously up in, I think it was like #1, and it still is for like rock and metal. You're like the guy when it comes to heavy music, in my opinion, and I think in a lot of people's opinions too.
That's kind of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, of course, man. Absolutely. I think it's true. I'm not just saying that. Yeah.
Man, I'm happy you think that's true.
Yeah. No. All my friends know who you are too. But yeah. I want you to talk a little bit, man. Like what's your background like? Like I know some stuff about you, but just to my extent. I know that you I think you started getting to heavy music, right? Like in middle school, am I right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a little bit of new metal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Slipknot, Korn, stuff that. Yeah, that's crazy, man. And then from there, did you like start playing music, like a guitar or piano, anything like that?
Yeah, I started playing guitar. That was my first instrument.
How old were you, man?
8th grade. Yeah, 8th grade. So my son's 12 and he was going to 6th grade. So probably 14, 15 years old. Yeah, 8th grade going into like freshman year of high school is when I started picking up the guitar. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of interesting because like, as weird as it sounds, like when you're starting to play guitar, like the music I listen to, sounds like Slipknot was all like real heavy on effects, like Korn and like Limp Bizkit. I mean, those dudes are making crazy sounds with crazy effects. And let me turn this on D&D real quick. And it was hard to like emulate that in a garage with a crate amp and nothing, and there was no digital anything back then, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I just try to stick to learning things that didn't require any effects pedals. And so I think that kind of naturally fed into why like the hardcore scene sort of drew me in a little bit, because it was super stripped down. It didn't require a lot of, technical ability. Yeah. Very raw. I
feel like we're going back to that a little bit. Or hardcore has always been like that. It's like, but yeah, it's always been pretty. But then I feel like there's a spike now because of like Knocked Loose and Kublai Khan, stuff like that. But anyways.
Yeah. And so, back in my day, you was like Hate Breed Perseverance was like really starting to, that album had just like dropped, it was like 2001. And it made a big impact on me. And through that record and through people showing me like Poison the Well and like Thursday, I started to realize that there was a small hardcore scene here in San Antonio that was like very DIY. And, shows would be 20, 30 people. Right, and they were in garages. They were in, later on in like tire shops.
That's what you want though. Like from a hardcore show, I think.
Yeah, and it was like local bands, and the hardcore scene here has always been very rich in like traditional hardcore, like not what people know as like hardcore these days. I mean like old school hardcore, like Gorilla Biscuits and Youth of Today and like Minor Threat, like the origins of hardcore, you know what I mean? For sure. And then obviously everybody got into the Cro-Mags, and a lot of bands started to kind of make more of a Cro-Mags type thrashier sound, which led to the Bitter End and Iron Age, Power Trip, bands like that. Yeah. And so Power Trip's not from here, but from Dallas, but like that was the scene that I kind of came up in. And so obviously I couldn't really play guitar that well, and so I really took to this band called Most Precious Blood, who was like signed to Trustkill Records, where Poison the Well was on, because I found them through that label, and started just making music like that, and that's how I started my first band.
Wow, yeah. Was that your only band?
No, that was just like my training wheel band.
That's cool.
And that's how I met a lot of people. Around that time, there was a message board. Do you know what a message board is?
Give me like 3 seconds. Is that like right after the pager? I'm not
I
trying
can't
to make
tell
you
if
feel
you're
old.
fucking with me.
No, I don't know.
No,
what
no,
it
yeah.
is.
So like message boards were like primitive, like social media, like as a way to like, it's like, you know what, like Reddit.
Okay.
Reddit is like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
message board,
Uh-huh.
essentially like an extreme message board,
Like a Discord, maybe?
more like Reddit. Yeah, so you could post a thread like I have any shows this weekend, and people would click on the link, and you could add, oh yeah, there's this going on, and then you'd leave comments on these threads, and so this was pre Facebook, pre MySpace. I created a website, a message board for the San Antonio hardcore scene.
Oh, heck yeah, man.
And it was called SAHXC .net or something like that, right? San Antonio Hardcore. And that board blew up. I mean, and we had thousands of users across Texas and the US, and like people from out of town would promote shows on our board, and like that's how I really became known in the scene initially, was because I created that message board. And then I was in bands. I later on was in a metal band.
Heck yeah.
That was, kind of like Darkest Hour.
Yeah.
Which is, like melodic death. I got a little better guitar.
I feel like you've always been like a leader in the heavy scene in general. I think starting with that, like not everyone's gonna create, a message board, and then you always had the entrepreneurial spirit too, which kind of it makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. That was, when I was thinking back about it recently, because I was, a bitter end. It's like a family reunion, and I was thinking back. I've known these people. I've known a lot of these people, more than half my life at this point, right? I met a lot of them when I was 15, 16 years old. And, just thinking back and just being grateful for all these relationships, I really thought back. It's like, oh, like I totally forgot I even did that at this point, because I've gone on so many different journeys with my life, and but at the time, that was a very significant part of my life, running that message board and making sure that, everything was cool
for free.
I mean? Yeah, I wasn't. I was paid in just like gratitude that like I've always sort of had like this imposter syndrome, and the fact that like I did something cool for the scene and the community and wasn't really waving my hand for credit about it, but people knew. I think that was what drove me. Is just knowing that like this. Where I maybe wouldn't have felt like I belonged, like that helped me feel like I belonged, because I listened to new metal. I wasn't, a lot of these people, I always said I came in through the back door into hardcore. You know what I mean? That pause, that sounded kind of weird. A lot of people listen to, traditional punk rock, you know what I mean? And then they go in, they transition into listening to like traditional hardcore at that time. I came from listening to like Disturbed and Slipknot to listening to hardcore bands, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it was an untraditional segue. And so, I still looked like I listened to new metal for a while until like the scenester stuff started to take effect, and then I transitioned into that, But
for sure, man. I think it's just like graduating. Like you're graduating to the next heavier whatever, I'm kind of the same way. I'm a metalcore guy. Like a Dead I Remember, it's pop punk, but metalcore-ish. And then like Parkway Drive. And then from there I got more into like the hardcore music. I'm not like 100% on the hardcore, but I do love a good hardcore song. Like, I love Kublai Khan. I love, if you want to consider Knock Loose hardcore. Whatever.
More modern,
whatever. But I'm kind of like with you on that. Like we just kind of graduated in a way, You're not just gonna go into that from Taylor Swift. So, but yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's crazy, man. Now, did you taught yourself guitar? We'll go back to that for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, just in my garage.
Yeah.
I had a crate. I still remember it. It's called a GX 212. It was a 212-inch 212 combo amp. And I had an Ibanez AX model, which was like the same guitar that like the dude from Taproot played.
Okay.
I think the dude from Mars Volta or at the drive-in at the time played that guitar as well. It's like it looks like a bell. It's weird. It's a weird shape.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, if you're like me, I mean, I'm self-taught too. Like I had YouTube and I had online tabs. So I don't know if you can one up me on that. You probably do because it was a different time. So it must have been different to like learn guitar back then.
Yeah, well, I mean, there wasn't YouTube
Right.
at that time, and but there was tabs.
There was tabs,
There
yeah.
was tablature like websites. You could just pick a song, but then you bump into people like mistranscribing them,
For sure.
like, and so you're learning wrong.
Yeah.
But there was that, and then just taking lessons.
Oh, you took lessons? That's good.
People that took lessons. Not really. Like I took
Oh.
enough to like understand like how I should be holding a pick and like how I should be fretting chords, but like I didn't make it more than 1 or 2 lessons with
Yeah, just to get your foundation right.
yeah.
That's cool. And then when did you start recording? If I know correctly, you were a salesman, right, at a car dealership with your dad, or like was that separate from your dad?
Both. So my dad has always sold cars, pretty much as long as I can remember, and I got started in 2006 selling cars.
Let's go.
And he worked at a Toyota dealership. I started off at a Dodge dealership, and then I ended up selling Toyotas a year later and stuck with that until I was no longer doing that. And my dad still to this day sells cars.
Oh, nice. I drive a Toyota. I have a Corolla.
It's the only thing. I've had multiple Corollas.
I drive a Rolls.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The Rolls.
Yeah, the Rolls. Yeah, but that's cool. And then, and then you, I guess at what age did you like start learning to, like actually kind of dabble into the recording?
So my experience beginning to record came from spending a lot of time with an engineer here in town. His name was Bobby Mercer. Bobby's no longer with us, but he ran a studio in town called the Looney Bin, and it was a home studio, but it was like, looking back on it, it was a very humble setup. You know what I mean? He had it in a very small little office room, and he would cut drums in the garage, and he had like a snake wired through the attic, and it was really cool. So you had the separation, right? Like you weren't hearing drums happening through a wall because you were across the house, which is pretty badass. And so, going to record my band's demo with him was my first experience with any sort of studio environment, even though it was a home. But I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world that like a guy was playing drums across the house and we were hearing it through microphones in another room. Like that concept just blew my mind. I remember putting myself back into that headspace right now. It was like the coolest thing I had ever seen. You know what I mean?
Bobby sounds like really, yeah, he was really innovative. Sounds
yeah,
like
well, yeah. I mean, for the time, I don't know that anything like that. I'm sure there was other home studios in town. He was just the one that came recommended, and I happened to show up there, and it was like he was a cool dude. He was super funny, and he also played in a band that was very popular in town at the time, and I just wanted to be in that environment as much as possible, and so I started bringing in bands.
Nice.
And so like all my friends' bands, when I brought him like No Hope in Texas, was a band that I brought there. There was another band named Samara that I brought there. There was a band called Dead on the Dance Floor that I brought there. And then he was recording, With All Sincerity at the time, and which is another legendary San Antonio band.
You're kind of like an intern.
I
I mean, not really, but like you were having fun. You were
Yeah.
learning, but like think about it, man. Like you brought him some good business, I imagine.
Yeah, no, he was super cool to me. He was, obviously happy I was bringing in business, and he'd let me hang out, and I, wasn't really asking a lot of questions, but it was just observing the whole thing and listening to what was going on and watching what he was doing kind of silently. And then, he ended up moving into a studio, which off Top Rewind, which was, formerly owned, by a dude named Wade, who's a super cool guy, legendary, engineer and producer from San Antonio. And that studio is called ITG, and it was a really cool little spot off Top Rewind in 35. Wade left, he moved away. Bobby took over the lease in that building, and around that time he got into some stuff that wasn't the best for him, and kind of got caught up into that, and started burning some people, unfortunately, not showing up for the sessions after taking money and things of that nature. Great guy, but like anyone
It's
that
life, man. It's
goes
life,
down
yeah.
a different path, you know
For
what
sure.
I mean? Like
It's the circumstances. It's not him, I understand that.
As later down the road, just to fast forward and close on him, he found God and turned his life around, had a beautiful family.
Wow, that's good.
He continued to record music. He passed tragically in a motorcycle accident. Shout out to his family.
Shout out to Bobby.
Yeah, man.
Rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace, that guy. But I was so burned by him at that time that I decided to start recording because I never wanted to put myself in that position again. And I said, if instead of wasting money and risking going through these situations with him and him not showing up or making excuses or whatever it is, I was going to put the money I was going to use towards recording, towards buying like my own stuff. And I started to get, collect microphones. But I guess just to like push pause and like go back, I've been into recording as long as I've been into guitar. I mean, right after I got my first guitar, the next Christmas, I asked for a 4-track recorder.
So you were like in high school when you first got like your first exposure.
Yeah, because I got a 4-track Tascam like recorder. It was literally recording to cassette tapes. And it's 2 tracks on each side.
Oh, wow.
And so like, I got to play around with, I'd record my voice and flip the tape and listen to it in reverse and like, all kinds of, miking up a guitar cab for the first time and all that stuff. So that was like my first foray and like
it's like opening up the door to like Narnia.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, wow. Like, and I just remember thinking like when I put a mic on this and record it to my cassette and listen to it through my headphones, it sounds terrible. Like, how are these guys making cool sounds, right? And then, you never have the means to even explore because there's, having studio equipment costs a lot of money. So moving forward, I bought a PreSonus interface. That was my first interface.
That's mine too.
Yeah, it was like a FirePod
well, actually,
or something.
it wasn't mine. My buddy let me borrow it, so I've had it for like a few years in high school. But PreSonus team.
PreSonus, yeah.
Gang.
And then started collecting microphones, and then I was still playing in a band at the time, so I started trying to record my own band, like just for practice. We was recording like rehearsals and things like that, and just getting used to putting mics in places and hearing sounds and wondering why it sounds terrible, and like it's just like that's kind of becomes the game for the rest of your life. Like, why does it not sound the way I want when I put the mic there, and then moving it until it sounds good, and then going from there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was how it started, and I was still living it with my mom at the time. Then in 2008, recession happened. Decided to get out of the car business because there was no indication when the economy was going to rebound, and I wasn't making.
And how old were you during this? Like during the recession?
Very early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 22 at the time.
And hold on, I want to just pause you just right there. At this time, had you already like started recording at least one song, like for an actual band or an artist at this point? Okay, cool. I just don't know. Yeah, I want to make sure I'm on the right timeline.
Yeah. So I mean, it wasn't Dead Room. It was just me at my mom's house, dicking around, and just having fun recording some bands. I recorded so Sam Vaughn that sings in Realms of Death. He was in that guy. He is a great friend of mine.
He's real nice.
As well, yeah, super nice guy. He was in a band with several other friends called No Return, and they were one of the first bands I recorded. There was a band called The Dance of Days I recorded. My friend Javi and Rosendo, and then one of my best friends, Stephanie McVeigh at the time. She's Stephanie Huskin, was in a band called Altus. And I was doing some early demos for them at the time as well. And this was, probably 2006.
Dang. Okay. And then what year did Dead Room officially? I think was it like 2013 or 2012?
2008.
Oh, I'm so off.
No, you're
my bad.
No, you're good.
But yeah, no, Dead Room was and then I know Dead Room has had a long history. I'm sure ups and downs, just like any other business too. But yeah, and then now I think you have other. Okay, what's Tone Crate? What is that? Are you owning it or are you affiliate? Like what is Tone Crate? Do you own it like 100% or like yeah? So it's a plugin. I don't know much about it, man. I tried researching it, but my brain's like down here and Tone Crate's like up here. So
no, it's just a Kemper profile sales company. So we, at the time, I'm not going to say it's defunct, but because the store still sells packs every day.
Heck yeah, man.
But I have not made a pack in years.
Well, yeah, it's
just residual income from what I did during the time that I was doing the business. But I started Tone Crate because I bought a Kemper. Are you familiar with the Kemper?
I am not. And
So Kemper, do you know about the Quad Cortex?
Yes, that I do know.
So the Quad Cortex is like essentially what a Kemper is.
Okay.
You can profile amps, live amps.
Got it.
And it has preset settings that you save off. Neural has captures for the Quad Cortex. Well, in Kemper world, they're called profiles.
Got it.
It's the same thing though.
Yeah.
It's a device that plays profiles, and so essentially, make a long story short, you have an amp and cab in your room. You mic it up. You link it into the Kemper or the Quad Cortex. You dial a tone in that you like. The Kemper, they work the same. Or the Quad Cortex, you press a button, it sends a bunch of crazy sounds through the live amp, crazy noises, and it captures the overall EQ shape and gain staging and tone of the impulse response of the speaker to create this digital snapshot of the live amp that's in front of you. And theoretically, if you've done a proper job, you can switch between listening to the profile and listening to the live amp, and you should hear no difference or relatively no difference. And so once you save them, you could go technically burn the amp and you'll have that tone saved forever digitally.
Wow.
And so, I've been in marketing and studio world at that time, a long time as well. So I decided to see if I could get some famous people involved, and that's how I started Tone Crate.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of affiliates now, right? You got a couple guitars, I think. You yourself, you have your own pack, I guess, like your face is on it, and then there's a couple other guys that have that. I guess you contract with them or something.
There's several dozen. Yeah, I'd fly them in. I mean, Alex Wade from Whitechapel was probably
let's go.
I guess the biggest name, but I had Rob Arnold from Chimera, which is a personal hero of mine. That guy was amazing. I don't know if you ever listened to Chimera. They might be a little before your time. But,
a little bit. I'll check them out, though.
Yeah, but Justin Oftencamp from Miss May I came through. I had Dan Sugarman from Ice Nine Kills. I had Dave Davidson from Revocation. Dean Lamb from Archspire. I had Scott Carstairs from Fallujah.
That's crazy, man.
There's a lot of dudes. How'd
you send them do you call them? Do you send them a mail? I don't know. What do you do to reach these guys?
Yeah. So when I started off, I had some pretty cool names right out of the gate. I'm personal friends with a dude named Kevin Talley, who is the original one of the original drummers of Dying Fetus. Okay. He lives here in town, and then Lyle Cooper is a drummer that used to play with the Faceless, who lives here in town as well. Was a personal friend of mine, and so I got both those guys on board from day one to do drum samples with me. And then because those guys are big names in the industry, and I was just getting started out, I was able to sort of not to say in a negative way use their names, but they gave me credibility to say if these guys trust Cliff, then
sure.
then I
it's
can
a co-signer.
too. Yeah, and then I was paying people very well.
That's good.
Compensating them. I was paying their flights. I was paying them a fee to come. And I paid for all the food while they were here, and most of the guys were here for 2 or 3 days.
That's crazy.
And so, I gave them all, significant amount of money at the time.
Yeah.
And
they'd be dumb to not come for free money at least.
And then through the length of the time that I ran the business, I was splitting the profits with them 50%.
Okay.
Which was crazy. That's probably why I didn't make it long term. You know what I mean? Because
you're trying to play a little too safe, maybe.
No, I wasn't playing it safe. I think I just was probably too generous with how I was compensating the artists. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in my mind, I felt like I needed to compensate them that much in order for them to consider it. And at the end of the day, there wasn't enough profit to grow at the rate I needed to grow to be able to handle whom at the time my competition was STL Tones. They started off doing Kempers, but they were not compensating people the way that I was. No, not a knock on them, but they were probably a little smarter about it. And then I think they got some investments and they landed, some key producers as well. Like I got to work with Jamie King, which was badass. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he recorded like all of Between the Buried and Me stuff. And, he's out in North Carolina. But like, it was tough to. It's a competitive space.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that because when you're first starting a project, it's hard to like really value your project's worth and how much sweat and tears you put into blood, sweat, and tears you put into it. And so that's kind of a struggle too. I guess with a lot of businesses, they don't know like where to price them because they don't really have like a direct measure.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, I probably could have. I probably could have handled that a little less. How do I say it? Like.
Yeah, I mean,
in hindsight's always 20/20, but is that the reason why it's not still like and why it's not a multi-million-dollar company right now? Probably not, but it didn't help.
Yeah,
I guess.
Hey, but you can only go up now.
Yeah,
and you still have it, so that's really nice.
It still exists, and if I ever wanted to start making packs again, I could. But nowadays, the market is so wide open, right? Like there's Tone X, there's Quad Cortex, there's a Kemper 2 now. You know what I mean? Like. I'm kind of over it.
Okay.
To be honest, but,
it's your passive income baby.
But yeah, it still exists, and it's all the 4 years worth of ads that I made are all still on YouTube because it was a subscription service.
Oh wow.
So you subscribed, and every month you got a new pack. That's why it's called Tone Crate. You get new creative tones each month. And so I mean it's a whole library of really awesome tones.
So do you subscribe to it still today, or do you just buy one, or how does that work? It's just
so it's just a standalone store now.
Store?
So like basically the whole anytime the packs would leave the subscription service, they'd go to what we called at the time the vault. And so if you just found out about Tone Crate and we're 8 months into the service, you could go buy the previous 7 months standalone, and that was what I was splitting with the artist 50%.
That's crazy, man. Good for you. I'm gonna put Tone Crate's link on the link down below.
Sure.
Yeah, heck yeah. I want to support you, man. You're a great guy.
Thanks, man.
For sure. Okay, so I want to get into like as a lay person. I mean, I've mixed and mastered in general, but it's kind of like this. It's like all over the place. So, what's the proper way to do it? Just like as if I were like 10 years old, just so anyone who's watching trying to get into their music production world and just wants at least some sort of diagram, man. Like, is it okay? I have no idea. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm gonna sound dumb.
No, it's fine. No, could you elaborate on your question, maybe?
Sure. Like, what's the order? What's the proper order if there were an order? Do you
like recording a song?
A song, or let's just do drums by itself because it's one instrument, but it has so many elements, right? So you have a track for each right. You have your snare and you get your toms. So let's just say that. Do you mix? I guess do you call it mixing like one track, like one snare, like the snare, and then you mix everything, all the lines, and then you just kind of master it all together? Is that what it is?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So you kind of have to look at a drum set as like one instrument. So even though there is a lot of moving parts. When I mic up a drum set, typically there's between 16 and 18 microphones. So your snare drum, I don't do any like drum programming. I only record like natural
real drums.
Yeah,
you're a real one, yeah.
And so, I'll have 2 microphones on a snare, on the top and on the bottom. One's getting the the batter head, the other one's getting the resonant head, which is where like the snare wires are, and then the kick drum will have a mic inside, and it'll have a mic on the outside, sometimes 2. Each tom will have 1 mic on it. Your hi-hat will have a mic. Your ride will have a mic. You will have 2 overhead mics, one on the left, one on the right for your crashes, and also to create an overall image of your drum set as a whole. Right? It serves 2 purposes, and then there are microphones strategically placed around the room. Usually one that's fairly close, usually a pair that's a little further back. And then I always try to have a mic or 2 or 3 that are in weird places just to create something unique, something that isn't safe. I like that word used. Something that can give some sort of vibe to the drum set. And so when you press record and a drummer runs through his performance, say it's a perfect world and he gives me the best take on the first try. Well, now I have 16 tracks on different sources of one singular performance. And if I did my job as an engineer and mic'd everything properly and he played his role perfectly, it should sound pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
Like right out of the gate. If all the mics are in the right spot, we tune the drums very well. Drums are like a guitar and then you have to tune them. Mm-hmm. You know, you can have toms that sound kind of weird and then it makes everything sound kind of weird. So, you know, it should sound pretty good. And then if you need a little EQ on your snare, then you put a little EQ on the snare, you know. Yeah. And then, you know, that's I'm being pretty you know, stripped down about it, but yeah, like
that's what I was asking. Yeah, so, like thank you.
Once it comes down to like the end of the process, where you you know, have all your guitars and layers of guitars, and you have a bass, and then you have vocals, and you have leads and effects, and you know, all this harmonic content in your session. Now your natural sounding drums are no longer punching through the way that they're supposed to be punching through to sound like a modern, you know, heavier recording. So there's a lot of tricks like using drum samples,
right,
or you know, utilizing compressors and more EQ and more exaggerated EQs to try to make sure that everything's sticking out. The great Andy Wallace, who mixed every classic record of all time, compares it to a streamline, like a steam engine, like a very streamlined steam engine that is just powerful and smooth, that doesn't have a bunch of wires hanging off the sides. It's very just rock solid, heavy, and in your face. And that's kind of like a good way to look at mixing heavy rock, or like Chris Lord Alge referred to mixing sometimes like a parking lot. Every vehicle has its own space, and you don't want cars parking across 3 spaces. You want it in their own space. So your kick has a space, your snare has a space, your guitars have a space. They're all in their own parking spaces, so you can see the whole picture while you're listening to it. And so that's really what mixing is just making sure everything is sitting in the right space.
Everything sitting in the right space is mixing. So what would you consider mastering? How would you, like, as simple as you could put it, what's mastering?
The simplest way I can put that is if you're a baker and you baked an amazing cake and you just need someone else to ice it for you.
Okay.
That's the analogy I use. It's the final, in technical terms, it's another set of ears to listen to your mix and offer a final stage of creative input on, you know, if we notch this frequency a hair and squeeze it a little harder, it's going to be a little louder, and it's not going to hurt your ears as much. It helps to translate your recording across like headphones and computer speakers and car stereos. You know, maybe you were a little heavy-handed on the low end with your kick drum. The mastering guy is going to tame that. You know, or maybe your mix was a little too bright and was going to shave people's ears off. He's going to darken it a bit for you. So It's like a final set of ears to just make sure that your recording sounds as polished as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you do just mix it, it's listenable, but you ideally don't want that. You want something a little bit better, right?
Yeah, well,
like, you could listen to it if you had to.
For sure. No, I mean, a great mix, you absolutely should be able to listen to it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like 100%. It's just a master's going to be a little louder.
Got it.
If it's a fantastic mix, you know, it's just master will be a little louder. It'll be a little punchier sounding, but it should sound pretty good.
Sound pretty good, yeah. If you're doing your job.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
cool. And you do both, right? Or what do you? Okay.
Yeah.
On your Instagram, you are a record producer and a mix engineer. So what's the difference between those two?
Yeah. So a producer is a record producer. A producer in general is someone that just is in charge of the overall project to make sure that everything is being handled properly, and
like a Spielberg.
Like for a movie. Yeah, that's a good analogy. It's somebody that makes sure that the players are playing as good as they can, that everything is streamlined and tuned. You know, the producer should not be reminding players to tune their guitars, but they do. It's making sure that you're getting the most out of the performances. That I would compare it to.
They've probably done every job at some point, maybe.
Yeah, probably the better ones, yeah. Although, you know, Rick Rubin's considered one of the greatest of all time and claims to not know how to play anything, you know.
Oh, and I think he's capping. I think he's capping. You gotta know how to play.
Yeah, so the producers in charge of like, you know, I'm not the average producer. I'm a little more hippie-ish about my approach. I take what the band brings me and I just try to give them the best version of what they're bringing to me. And if I hear some opportunities along the way, I will point them out. You know, hey, like the chorus maybe isn't popping enough. We should add another guitar effect, or we should add a lead here, or you should have some low vocals under your high vocals here, or we should stack some stuff. I offer a lot of recommendations, but there are many producers, like my former partner Mac Damon included, who will say, I don't think this song is that great. Let's rewrite it. Mm-hmm. We'll change the key. We're not going to use that bridge. We're going to make a new bridge. And they'll rewrite the songs. And that's a more traditional producer. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that takes a lot of talent. It takes a lot of skill to be able to sit and write songs with people.
For sure. Mm. Wow. And I think, do you prefer, because you've been in the game for like, what, 15 years, give or take?
I mean, I started in 2006, so it'll be 20 years next year. Yeah.
So over that period of time, you've seen the evolution, right? Going from, what is it, like from amps, or what do you call it, analog stuff, mm-hmm. or to digital. Mm-hmm. Are there any preferences to back then versus now? Like, well, I don't know. Like, what's your take on the differences, if I had to ask that?
Yeah. In terms of like guitar equipment or like recording equipment?
No. Just like the recording process, because like plugging in a guitar versus using an actual physical amp.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, that discussion of like digital versus analog can go across the whole spectrum.
Okay.
You know, like, so for me, I like, just like with drums, I only record real amps. Even though, which is ironic that I own the Tone Crate, you know, and I made Kemper profiles, I don't really use a Kemper that often. I will for certain things, especially if there's amp sounds I want that I don't own. But I will always use a real amp because that's just what I know, and I can't, maybe it's because I'm old, I can't get the sound that I crave from amp sims. Mm-hmm. If I sat and I tried long enough, I could, but I'd rather just not. I'd rather just mic
hey, if it works, it works, right?
Yeah.
Can't fix what's not broken.
To me, I'm not a great person to ask that question to, because I look at this whole thing like sculpting to me. Mm-hmm. Like I get an opportunity to make something from scratch, and you know, I feel like when you are using like amp simulators and stuff, like you're just utilizing a tool that was created for you by someone who is badass, but it is still something that was created for you, and I have the means and the talent and the experience to be able to create my own sounds, so that's what I prefer. But you know, the same thing goes for mixing. You know, I had up until recently an analog mixing console that I would mix my recordings through that console. I have a nice amount of like outboard compressors and EQs, and so I prefer to touch gear and turn knobs and make the recording sound like what I want it to sound like. Mm-hmm.
Got more freedom
with gear, and just using my ear and working in that space, and then using plugins as a supplement to that. Got it.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people rely on plugins, man. It's crazy.
Well, plugins are great, you know.
Yeah,
but it's just I just have, to me, I'm more inspired and I have more fun when I'm able to like
it's a canvas
to touch gear. I feel like I'm actually sculpting when I'm using real gear, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. We do. I think if you ask me, I don't even like touchscreens. I want an actual knob. Like if I'm in my car, I want to know, because you just know where you're at. Like on the volume, you just know where you're at. Right. You don't have to look at it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's funny how you said ear. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, you've talked about this in other podcasts. Mm-hmm. I want to talk about that. It doesn't have to be too long, but I feel like it's worth talking about. Mm-hmm. It makes you unique. It's a crazy history, but you're making it work, man. So if I know correctly, you woke up one day, and which ear was it? Is it your left or your right?
The one that I am missing now.
Yes.
Yeah, the right ear.
The right ear. So you woke up. Cut me off if I'm wrong. You woke up one day. It was like a loud ringing sound, and ever since then, I'm gonna butcher the story because we're running out of time a little bit. But the doctor told you it's either A or B. He told you it was a
Either had a virus.
a virus.
Yeah, that had already taken, root in my ear and was going to suffer irreparable hearing loss.
Yeah.
Or there was a 2% chance I had a benign brain tumor and that I should get an MRI like tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so that's what it ended up being. I had a benign brain tumor growing through my hearing nerve into my brainstem. And it was something that had already reached a point where it was causing me to lose hearing. And because of its proximity to my brainstem, if it got larger, it could kill me. So I had a pretty significant surgery to remove the tumor, which also removed my hearing nerve because it was.
Well, first of all, I'm glad you're still here with us.
Oh, thanks, man.
I mean, yeah, no, for sure. I just want to get that. I just want to mention that you're a really important person to the heavy music metal community in San Antonio, and you're an even better person in person.
Oh, thanks, man.
So for sure. Now going back to that real quick, now, without having your right ear hearing, obviously it's starting off. It's a difficult task to record music, and I know you went for about half a year without recording after that procedure, and you got back into it eventually. Are there any positives if you had to pick out like a positive to it? Like, does your I'm not joking about this, but I'm just trying to make an analogy. Rain Man, right? Like he can't see, but he's got he's got a
oh, like heightened senses.
Exactly. Like, did you experience anything like that? I don't know. Do you feel like that's yeah?
Excuse me. Maybe I don't know.
Like the left ear got better. Like you had to rely on it more. I don't know.
It may have.
Yeah.
It may have. But things that people don't think about. Knowing what direction sounds are coming from. I don't. If I'm driving and there's an ambulance, I can't tell you where it's coming from.
Okay.
Where like you can be like, that's coming right there, or I hear it behind me or whatever. I just hear. So if I hear something, sometimes I can make it out based on like the clarity. Oh, like if I'm hearing it that clearly, it has to be on my left side. But
that makes a lot of sense.
Or if it's whatever. But I think it has helped me in the recording sense, to be honest, because I think having stereo information, it can throw people off, especially when you're kind of learning your chops. You know what I mean? And one of the famous engineer.
And real quick, for those who don't know, what's stereo versus mono?
Yeah, stereo means you're hearing it out of two speakers. You're hearing something from two sources as opposed to just one.
Okay.
Right? So like if you're hearing in stereo, it means you're hearing out of both ears, whereas like I'm hearing in mono, which means I'm only hearing in one. If you're listening to something in stereo, you're hearing it come out of two speakers, whereas mono, it's the same sound.
Okay.
It's a singular sound, right? So like you switch your speakers here to mono, it's going to play the same thing out of both speakers. So technically you could turn one off and you're still hearing the whole sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I think because of that, it has been a help, as I tend to kind of hover near the left side anyways because of my seating. I'm kind of only hearing what's coming out of the left side. I'm not having as much room interaction. I don't know. I learned the same way everyone else learned. It's just I'm only hearing out of one ear, and I'm listening to the same songs everyone else is listening to, and just trying to make my stuff sound like that. And how I'm perceiving it, I'm trying to make my stuff sound the way I'm perceiving that music, and because I'm doing a decent job, you are then perceiving it the way you are perceiving it, which is, and that sounds kind of weird, but
no, but I think it's great. I mean, it's not great, but dude, you got so lucky because you already knew how to mix and master before it happened.
Not really.
Oh no?
No.
Because you're damn good at it. I don't know.
I had just started.
Oh wow.
So like, I had my surgery to remove my tumor in like summer of 2007, and I had just picked up recording in 2006, and so I had no clue what I was doing. And then, so once I, actually decided to kind of start pursuing it, I was basically starting from scratch because I didn't really pick up a whole lot. There wasn't videos on any of this stuff. It was just message boards, like you said.
Got
it. Reading things and.
Yeah. So what do you? Yeah, that's crazy.
So
starting off with that,
I learned. Yeah, I essentially learned with 1 year.
That's I don't think a lot of people can ever do that. Want to do that, but you wanted that. You wanted it that bad. You just wanted it, man. That's
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend, my friend Rosendo, to thank. Him and I had done some recording, and he was one of the first people I ever recorded, and he called me like maybe 6 months after my surgery, or 8 months after, and he said, "Hey, could we do some more recording?" And I was like, well, "Dude, I only hear out of 1 ear, man. Like I don't." And he was like, "Yeah, you still can hear out of that ear." And I was like,
facts.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. So I was like, let's try it. And then like after I did it, I was like, oh, like this is fine.
Were you overthinking it? Maybe I'm overthinking it.
I think probably both. Yeah. I mean, it's not I say it's not any different. It's completely different. I mean, there's people, I'll sit with people, experienced ears, other engineers and things, and we'll listen to the same thing. And I will sometimes have to ask them, like, hey, like, I'm getting a sense that this is happening because I can't perceive that when it comes to, like, delays, ping-ponging to speakers. I'll get a sense that it's happening, but, like, I'm not hearing the effect the way that you would be hearing it because I can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't hear something bounce between two speakers if you can't perceive the space between the two speakers.
Right. Yeah. We forget that music's a physical thing.
Yeah. So I will make fun delay moves like almost out of theory. Like I am imagining how you would hear it, and I'm making it do the thing I think you're going to hear, even though I can't perceive that it's happening.
Yeah. Just knowing just looking at your looking at your project, right? Like looking at where the knobs are and just looking at your screen, just understanding that. Yeah, that's really cool. And so obviously you have a lot of clients still. You still get your clients in. They trust you. They should trust you because you do a damn good job.
Thank you, man. Well, how did you hear about Dead Room like initially?
Okay.
You said you've known about it your whole life. Like, where did that come from?
Just curiosity. I was just like, what
was the first time you remember hearing it or seeing the name?
It was online.
Or like from what project?
Oh, not really a project. It was just more of just like music producers in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
And then I was just like, I found like all these like dust ones, right? Like all these like country and all these whatever, like whatever. And I was like, okay, well, like I was like, what's a good rock metal,
You were doing the search when you were like
in high school. I'm just a curious soul, man.
Oh, okay. So but you weren't playing any bands. You were genuinely just curious in your bedroom. And
mean, technically I was in a band, but we weren't like we only played like a show. So, but I was just more for me.
Yeah.
If anything, it wasn't really practical. It was just more of like, what's here, dude? Like, and then you came up, and I'm just looking at your pictures. I'm like, damn, this guy's like the real deal. And my buddy Adam, he knows who you are too, because we like the same music, and we were just like, oh, that guy Clifton, bro, yeah, he's the real deal. Because like you would do a lot of artists, or you would produce a lot of artists, or mix and master. Probably everything.
All of them,
yeah. With bands that were like my age at the time. Like Hidden Oh My, remember them? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I knew a buddy that was in that one. Just an example. But and then I went through, because you always have your sample clips like on your website, so I was like, damn, this sounds pretty tight. Yeah. That's how I found out about you.
That's cool, man.
It was more of an active approach rather than just like someone telling me.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, so back like when I was younger, we would have like you have CDs, a bunch of CDs in this room. Like you'd open up the book, and you would see like mixed by mixed by this person, mixed by this person, and that's how I would find out about people.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah. That Deep Blue, the Parkway Drive record, was mixed by Joe BARRESI. And Joe BARRESI's like a hero to me. He's been a mentor for me. I go out to LA and learn from him in his studio.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, like I went once a year for like 5 years taking like classes that he offers, and changed my life. He
That's
also
good.
mixed like the last 3 Slipknot records and the last 2 Tool records, and he's mixed Alice in Chains and Every Time I Die, and like he's just a legend. But,
That's crazy.
yeah.
I didn't even know. I didn't know his name, but thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll look him up sometime when we're done here. But yeah, so I guess we talked about a lot about you know, what you're known for, but let's move on to something that you moved on to a little bit, and it's growing, man. Your page is growing. Eating with Clifton Miles.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dude, you are like the only music producer in Texas that eats.
Well, hopefully not. I mean, everyone's starving to death.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, man. It's a weird. That's kind of like. You know, I watch a lot of Marvel films, and like sometimes I feel like I'm in some like alternate timeline. I never had any aspirations to do that. I'm a foodie. I've loved trying new spots. I would intentionally go out of my way to try new spots. Anytime the weekend was coming, you know, hanging out with the girlfriend or whatever it is, like, you know, it's like always like, what are we going to try this week? You know, like what is it? Or, you know, there's a lot of really great people that make food content in San Antonio that have been doing it for years, you know. That, you know, we'd share videos between us like, oh, check this place out.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, earlier this year, I was going through depression and was just needing something, a hobby that was different. I needed like a challenge.
Yeah, you need
know?
some sort of escape. It's an escape.
Yeah, I needed a challenge. And then I was also going to be in New Orleans that weekend. And some of my favorite spots are in New Orleans, some of my favorite restaurants. And so I was like, you know what, this is a good like launching pad for me to try something different. And so I made some of my first videos in New Orleans and got to practice. And then when I realized that I could do them relatively quickly, that it wasn't an incredibly time consuming thing. I don't have any time, you know, between my day job, you know, in the marketing branding company I work for, and then, you know, doing studio recording nights and weekends, having my son every other week. He splits time between me and his mother. I don't have time to do anything, but I'm already eating. And so I'm like,
might as well document it.
like I may as well just start using this like downtime that I'm eating to like potentially create something new that's fun as well. And so that's how that started.
When you show up to like a restaurant, like right now, because now like you got a following a little bit. So, do you just show up like, do you tell them who you are? Like, hey, I'm Clifton. You might have seen my stuff, or do you just show up as a normal person? Like, what do you tell them?
Both. Right now at this, as of this, I don't know what today is, August 5th or 4th or something, but as of today, it's all of the above. Okay. There are some restaurants I will just walk in as a customer and just sit down, order like anyone else, and I just will happen to just start filming it.
Yeah.
I have lights that I bring, and I'll get the shots. I'll record the place, and then while I'm there, I will almost always have a conversation with the general manager and just let them know that, hey, I'm not a weirdo.
Right. This is
like,
what I
do. I make videos.
And that's why I wanted
online.
to ask that, like, because you're just hanging out, you're talking, or I don't know, you're just like showing the camera. Yeah. Like, what's this guy doing?
Lights.
That's a long Snapchat.
Yeah, I do have a whole setup now where I have lights. But I will let them know, and also, you know, let them know, but also somewhat semi-ask permission. I mean, I don't think they can. Maybe they could tell me no.
It's on their property,
you know,
so maybe,
yeah. Like, but so I'm like, hey, I'm going to do this. Is that cool?
Right.
That's kind of how the approach. And you know, I've never been told no. So that's how I approach some.
Do you tell them before or after you order? I think it's an important thing because like you want the real deal.
Yeah, no, I tell them after I order. Yeah,
That's
good. And or sometimes I'll do it like while I'm actually doing it. If they walk by, like, oh, hey, I'm doing this. You know, that's cool, right? You know, that's not the most common way though. Mm-hmm. That's these days that's much less common. More often than not, I'm having a conversation with them in advance and scheduling something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so these days, a lot of times they're reaching out to me.
Oh.
You know, the
free meals maybe?
What's that?
You get like free meals and stuff?
Usually, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, like it's when I'm being invited, yes, or when I'm asking up front, that's usually the agreement because there's a lot that goes into making these videos. for them to offer a free meal is typically like it's
right. It's not worth it, but it's fun.
Yeah,
like the time consuming of it.
Well, it's like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. It's like common courtesy, like because they know it takes a lot of effort and work for us to do this. It's like a common courtesy for them to comp the meal for you for that. You know what I mean? For sure. Which is why a lot of influencers, I hate that word, by the way.
Me too.
A lot of people like who I just call them like content creators in the food space. Like
I don't even like content creator, bro. I feel like that's so cringe.
I don't know. I'm in the same boat, man. I don't like it. People, that's what people started calling me. Like, oh, this is someone introduced me as an influencer, and I was like, oh god, like don't. I don't want to be called that, but I misplaced or not, I try to think of myself in a different light. I am doing like internet content for food in that arena, but in my brain I feel like more like Anthony Bourdain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
he's an inspiration to you.
Yeah, like I'm not not that I'm not a fan of Anthony Bourdain. I didn't follow him, but I've been following foodies. Food Network, locally, like David Elder, that guy for years. And
Elder Eats.
Yeah, Elder Eats. Yeah, that guy's awesome. And I think when you watch videos of like even the Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives guy, like he's a little corny, right? But like when you're watching that show, like it's like, oh, this guy's doing a deep dive into what this place is about, what they're doing for food, how it tastes. Anthony Bourdain is a very cool guy. He's a respectable person, and he's talking about the food. He's talking about the culture. And so that's more of like what my approach is, except I have to do it in a 90-second format. And so it's a little more fast-paced. And unfortunately, because of the content format, you have to utilize certain tricks and
right. You gotta be smart about it
to be able to keep someone's attention, right? Because if you're thinking about like Anthony Bourdain style of like food reviews, it's very long-winded.
Oh, you're gonna still sit. You're gonna be on your couch, and there'll be a commercial, and you're still gonna be there.
Yeah, and it's like the lonesome night in Austin, Texas. We're paying homage to their culture, and it's just like this very long-winded thing. But like with TikTok, you get 3 seconds, if that, to keep someone's attention. So you have to present the information in a way that forces someone to watch and then just hope they stick around.
Yeah.
And the metrics are crazy. I have 13,000 followers as of today on TikTok. Oh, thanks, man.
Let's
go. And when I look at the videos metrics, the average watch length is 12 seconds. Right? And so it's kind of like I don't know.
That's where we are as society.
It's where
that's
we're
where
at.
we are
And it sucks because it's like, but it's also like a relief in a sense, because none of this has to be perfect. I don't know if you pay attention to Gary Vee or not. He's like, just put it out. Put it out. Like I could sit here and I could fret for hours about this one particular phrase. But the likelihood that someone's even going to watch the whole video at this point when 95% of people are only watching the first 12 seconds.
Right.
No one cares, right?
The ones who watch the whole thing, they probably like you even more.
Yeah, it's authentic. I'm not sitting here, reading a script. I freeball every voiceover I do, like Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? Like I'm making it up. I edit the video how I want to watch it, and I'm literally just narrating it as I'm watching my own video, and that's how I'm recording the voiceover. Oh. So like I don't write a script. I just
You're not in your studio.
What's that?
You're not in your studio.
I'm not in the studio.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But
no, I am in the studio, but I'm not
edit.
Standing in a booth. Right. Like I'm in my studio because it sounds nicer in there, and I'm recording it to my phone.
Yeah, but the recording process is like you're not Clifton Miles' dead room. You're Clifton Miles.
Yeah, I'm just a dude talking about food in that moment, and so it is what it is. But it's been fun, man. Yeah, the TikTok is growing real fast. The Instagram is growing slower, but it is growing. Other people tell me it's growing pretty fast, but I'm impatient, and the TikTok is going wild. To me, it's going wild. I mean, 13,000 people, and I got started on TikTok in April.
This April?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at that, man.
I got started on Instagram in March, like the last couple of days of February, early March, and
roughly the same timeline, man. Roughly the same time, like a month's difference, and one's like, TikTok's crazy. TikTok is like a wild horse. People will watch more of TikTok than Instagram Reels, in my opinion, or at least binge watch that at least.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just it's a better format for this type of stuff. People. It's putting your video. It's doing a better job of putting your video in front of the people that are interested in watching it, and so like I can post a video to Instagram and the same within 5 minutes post the same video to TikTok, and the Instagram video will get to 6,000 views by the end of the day. The TikTok might hit 18,000 by the same time period, and then we'll keep going for days. You know, reaching 100, 200,000 views on the ones that pop.
Do you ever get like crazy messages like, hey, I live in San Antonio, my grandma made this badass pozole, come check it out. Like, do you ever get like crazy stuff like that? Yeah,
sometimes. Or like people that like make cookies and they want to like promote their business and stuff. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
There's some of that, yeah. And then, I did a private chef. That was one that was probably the most.
I think I saw unique. That. Yeah, yes, I did see that.
Her name is Ashley. Shout out to her. That she's that was probably the most unique one I've done because she's only cooks in people's homes or does catering. And so, fortunately, I have an amazing friend named Megan. Shout out to Megan, who let us use her house. Beautiful house. Megan and Jason. Shout out to both of them.
Oh yeah, that place had an HOA. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, and
probably two of them.
Yeah, right. And their house is just so beautiful. They let us use their house and shot the video there. And I love them. Those are my best friends. So shout out to them again.
So that's her chef, or the chef? The chef contacted you, and you needed a home.
Yeah, I need. Like,
I own a house. You have a home, but you needed like a
nice
a long, maybe like a long kitchen setup. I don't know what they do.
I just I care a lot about aesthetics.
Oh yeah, that's
just
good.
In general.
Smart.
Blanket statement. I care a lot about aesthetics.
It's important.
And my house is pretty humble. I have a 1,200 square foot house. I live in a decent area, but like I have a humble house. You know what I mean? Megan and Jason have a fucking beautiful house.
Excuse my language. Cool.
Yeah, they have a beautiful house. And me caring about aesthetics and the comfort of the chef, they have a gas range. They have a double-decker stove. They got stainless steel appliances. Like, they have a proper vent-a-hood. Like, it made all the sense.
That's good.
To just do it there. And they're foodies also, and we all enjoyed it. So
there we go.
Yeah.
Good. Megan's a good girl. She's a good person.
She's a great person.
And yeah, that's crazy. To like dedicate like a couple hours, or how long did it take?
It was like a whole night. Yeah, I mean, I think Ashley Griggs, we'll shout her out. Piece of Cake, is the name of her business.
Oh, okay.
Her catering company. She showed up, I think maybe like 4:30, and then we were eating probably by maybe 7:15.
Oh wow.
And then maybe 7:45, somewhere in that range, and then clean up. Mm-hmm. And then, little chit chat and stuff. And I think she wasn't leaving until maybe like almost 10. So it was like a whole.
That sounds kind of fun,
night,
actually.
Yeah. And I'm filming the entire time.
Mm-hmm. And she got free food.
What's that?
She got free food probably.
Who, Megan?
Yeah.
Megan and Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, we all. Yeah, so that was the deal. I made the video for her. She cooked for the four of us, them two, me and my girlfriend. And then, yeah.
That's cool, man. Cool. Good for you. Good for her. Keep her as a friend.
Of course.
Dude, she sounds so awesome.
She's the best.
We all need a Megan in our lives. And Jason.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't want to take too much of your time. We hit about an hour. Where are we at? Yeah, we're like an hour and 7.
Good, man. I mean, I'm good.
We'll wrap this up, man. I'm gonna put all your links. I'm gonna put everything from Tone to Dead Room to your Eats page, everything down. I want people to know more about you. Not that people don't know about you, but I want to do my part too. Because, dude, you're a busy man. Like you had mentioned, you're a dad. You got side businesses. You work full time. So I really appreciate you coming on. Yeah, no, you are a staple to the San Antonio rock and metal community. You're like a household name, except for you're in a band. If you're in a band, you're a bus hold name, like a tour bus. Yeah, lame joke, but yeah, yeah, but that's really cool, man. Thanks for coming out. Are there any like current projects that we haven't talked about, or future projects that you feel comfortable talking about that you want to just promote in general? Keep the drums rolling, or did we hit it all?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna keep making food content. I'm not saying that that's like a focus or a priority right now, but it is something that's going pretty well for me. So I'm gonna keep doing that. As far as the studio, wrapping up an EP for a band called Saving Jackie.
Oh, I know them. Well, I know
yeah.
of them with a girl singer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're killer.
Yeah, they're really good. And this new EP is really good. And then we just finished up an EP for Ammo for My Arsenal, which they just put out, which is awesome as well. Or they're in the process of putting out. I think they've put out a couple of songs thus far. I'll have to double check that. Excuse me, but
No, you're good.
yeah. But Ammo for My Arsenal's new stuff is killer. And finishing up mixing a project for a band called Necio, which is some old school cats playing kind of like a new metal style.
Oh wow.
And yeah, that's all as far as the studio front. My day job, I print T-shirts. I'm in a sales manager for a print shop.
Hell yeah.
So we sell like T-shirts and hats and koozies and mugs and
We all use those. We all drink those.
Promo merch. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's been handed a tote bag with pins that have, branded company names on them. So that's what I do for a day job. So we're selling like, high quantities to large companies and things like that. But then also like, stuff like this. If you ever wanted T-shirts or koozies with your, Riff Lounge on it, like, that's something that we could do. And so my day job is very important to me. It's Big Star Branding. Shout out to my people over there.
What is that?
That's the name of my company, the company that I work for, my day job.
Okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was called something else. I don't know why.
No, yeah.
Big Star Branding.
Big Star Branding, yeah. So this is it's been around for almost 40 years. It's a locally owned business. When I say mom and pop, I don't mean that they're a small company.
They don't cut corners.
But they are a medium-sized company, but that is still locally owned.
Wow.
The owner who founded the company is there every day. A really wonderful woman named Kathy.
That's a nice shirt. They obviously did that.
The back is badass. We obviously printed these. They're for us or for the employees, but I mean, I have accounts with, UT school districts.
Oh, nice.
UT Dallas, UT Arlington, UTSA. I do all the merch for Fat Burger and Round Table Pizza. Some restaurants. I'm working with Crazy Katsu now, another local restaurant, and so yeah, I this is like a priority for me because this is how I feed my son and pay my bills, and then obviously. Recording is in my soul. I will always do it, and that's something I'm still doing as well in the evenings, and the food stuff in between. So that's really all I got working on. And
well, keep doing it. Everything, man. You're doing a great job.
Thank
you really are. Thanks for hopping on. We just met today, and so I thank you for trusting me. And this will be out in a couple weeks.
Cool.
2 or 3 weeks or so. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right.
Fuck yeah, dude.